All right, we're starting off the hour with a little review. 3 questions you should be able to solve. The toughest one's the middle one, just because it's what's called a literal equation. It's got more than one variable in it. So when you're done, you're solving it for y, but your answer has x's in it. And you're never supposed to leave an answer with negative exponents, just so you know. You can't leave your answer for b with like x to the negative 2 in it. That can't be negative. You have to fix negative exponents. How do you fix them? You make them go to the bottom of the fraction or the top of the fraction to make them happy. All right. Another way to say that is you have to, well, bottom line, you have to leave your exponents as positive. And the last one for number C, that's the kind where we graphed them yesterday. Your homework was graphing. And hopefully you know how to find 3 points. Don't just blindly pick numbers like, I'm going to put in 4. Because then you're going to have to do 3 to the 6th power, which is massive. Don't do that. I won't graph. It's too big. Don't put in 4. Put in something else. All right. Give these 3 a try. We'll see if you can at least get 2 out of 3. Pause for a second while you give that a shot. Okay, I want to see if this will show up on my recording. And if it doesn't, I'm just going to do the first problem of it and see if it I can record my iPad's on the screen. So I'm going to bring it over so that you guys can see it here. And there. Let's see if you can get hopefully 2 out of 3. First step. Dice of Destiny. It is row 4, person 1. That's you. First step. For part A. You are correct. That cancels. And then how do I get this x to the negative 2 alone? You know what to do? Put it to the, what? No, 2 times 2 would make 4. You just got a bigger power then. You got to put it to the 1/2 power. That way, 2 times 1/2 gets down to 1, but it's still negative. So instead, put it to the negative 1/2 power. How many of you knew to put that to the negative 1/2 power? All right. Now, what is 32 divided by 2? 16. 16. Does 16 to the 1/2 sound like something we could do? Yeah, what is 16 to the 1/2? 4. And then the negative makes it? Raise your hand if you had 1/4 on that one. Okay. All right. And just in case my iPad can't be viewed on the video, I'm going to continue on the next problem. I didn't show you A if at home if you can't see the iPad, but what we did is we divided by 2 first, then we put everything to the negative 1/2 power. All right, part B. Yes. Oh, you got me, and I was totally bringing that up to show that. I wanted to show everybody that that's one of those kind where you get, okay, at the end, we had this, and then we did this, and I was going to show you, it's so easy to forget, and then I forgot. It's so easy to forget that we just did an even root, and therefore its absolute value of x is 4, and therefore the final answer isn't 4, or even, you have to do it to negative, sorry, hold on, 1/4, sorry. It's not final answer of 1/4, it's 2 answers, 1/4 and negative 1/4. How many of you actually caught that and were smarter than the teacher this time? Nice work, like 7 or 8 of you. That was a big oops on my part because I did that problem specifically to practice that. Why plus and minus again? If the bottom is even, watch out for that. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. And in pre-calc, it happens again. 3-4 times on tests, we have the same scenario come up in different kind of ways, but you still end up doing a square roots of square roots of numbers that people aren't expecting 2 answers, and then there's 2 answers. All right, so this one, let's simplify this. 2 times 6 makes 12, and then the 2's can cancel. And then these 2's aren't happy where they are, or x to the negative 2 isn't happy where it is, that goes down. And so then I have a 1 left on top. I'm going to make some room. Grab all this, move it down. And this becomes 1 over x squared y is equal to 4. Now, I've told you before that if you have fractions, you should get rid of those fractions by multiplying. And I'm going to multiply both sides by x squared y. And then this cancels that. And now I have 1 equals 4x squared y. And if I want the y alone, I'm going to divide both sides by 4x squared. And I have a final answer of 1 over 4x squared. Yes? I might have just lost it. Just a second. I think I lost the 6. Yep. I don't mean lost it like went crazy. I just mean like I forgot that it was there. Okay, so then that 6 goes here. All right. And then I times both sides by 6. And then that gets that 6 up to here. And then this would be a 6. And then that cancels that 6. And then a 6 times 4 is 24. So it should be 24. Whew! Wow. Yeah, 2 mistakes in a row. That's pretty bad. I'm tired. I was here late last night. And I'm going to use that as my excuse. We all can make mistakes. But it's particularly after lunch, and you get more tired too. And then I was tired this morning. Okay, let's do one more, and let's see if Mr. Server can not screw up on the 3rd problem in a row. All right. So on this one, I want to find some points. I hope you realize that -2 would be an awesome thing to put in. How many of you knew that -2 would work really well? Okay. And if I put in -2, then anything to the 0 power is what? 1. 1 minus 4 makes? 1 minus 4 makes -3. So I think it's -2, -3. Is that what you guys said? Okay. And the next one. Let's put in, how about, well, 0. Yeah, I think actually 0 will work pretty well. Because I do have to do 3 squared, which is 9, which gets big. But then I'm taking off 4. So then 9 minus 4 will give me 5. So if I put in 0, you get 5. Okay. And then who put in -1? That's probably a good call. All right, I like it. If I put in a -1 here, -1 plus 2 makes 1. 3 to the 1 is 3. 3 minus 4 makes -1. And there's my 3 points. And then what would I get marked wrong and get my 3rd question in a row wrong? Yes? Asymptote. You have to have the asymptote. And the asymptote always starts at y equals 0 and then can be changed. Did this graph get moved up or down? Because that'll change the asymptote. Got moved down 4. So therefore, final answer for the asymptote, y equals -4. And that will be a horizontal asymptote. All right, I better quick while I'm ahead because then I haven't screwed up the 3rd problem in a row. Yay. Okay. Whew. So that's kind of getting us caught up. So what's next? What's next is I give you a real world situation and you plug it in and you end up making an equation that's an exponential. I'll give you an example of one. And this is like the master one. So copy this one down really well because it'll help you to do all the rest of them. The end value is equal to the start value times 1 plus the rate to the power of x, which is your time. So let's imagine for a moment, what's something in your life that the price of it has gone up a fair amount over time? What's something that the price has gone up on? You guys even know of anything? We haven't had super high. Yes. Ooh, I like it. True. What were you saying? You are correct. Health insurance has gone up a lot in the last few years, and so has college tuition. All right. So let's see. I don't know what numbers I can use though that are like a, well, I can tell you this. I do actually know one I can use. When I went to St. Olaf, the price tag, the start price tag, was $10,000 a year. I remember because it was my very first year, it had finally just hit $10,000. And back then, everybody was like, can you believe it? It's so expensive. And nowadays, $10,000 would be the cheapest college you could find. That'd be like somewhere in Canada or other foreign countries. Sometimes offer good deals, and you might want to think about that. If you really want a super good deal, like going to Toronto or going to, I've heard there's some places in Germany where they teach in English, and it's really cheap. So I don't know. That's an option. So, but starting price 10,000, and the ending price means like what's the price right now at St. Olaf? And when you actually look at their website, it'll quote you the realistic, as in like even the cost of like buying toothbrushes and toothpaste and like the full cost, and it'll be like $63,000. That's tuition, room, board, everything. So that's gone up a bit since I went to college. And then I could say, when did I start at St. Olaf? That $10,000 tuition was in 1986. I had just finished high school and got my first, started my first college year. And then from 1986 until now, well, 96, 2006, 2016, about 33 years ago. Okay, so then that's our time. The time component right here, 3 years. Sorry, 33 years. Whew. And then 1 plus r. And we can solve and see what rate has St. Olaf's tuition gone up on average every year, year after year after year. There's a couple cell phones out, like one over here. If it's in your backpack, that would be much safer for you. You're not likely to get in any trouble if you get a text. Otherwise, you'll pick it up, you'll look at it, and then I'll get grouchy with you. Don't make me say your name. All right. So tell me, what do you think we should do first in solving this? Divide by 10,000 is correct. And after you divide by 10,000, you get a decimal over here. Actually, it's just 63, isn't it? Or did I goof that up? Oh, I have a 0 here. Okay, so 6.3. And then this is gone. And then that's 1 plus r to the 33. And then, real world problems are always ugly, but at least they're kind of cool because they're real. And you get a real world situation. Now we got to put 6.3 to the power of, what gets rid of a 33? 1/33. I like it. Is that an even root? No. But even if it had been even root and we got a plus and a minus, do you get a negative rate? Wouldn't make sense. In the real world, it didn't go down. The rate wasn't negative. Okay, so now this is the part where you're going to need a calculator for the rest of the hour. So grab a graphing calculator. If you don't have one you want to borrow from me, you may, but you got to leave me some collateral. Don't just sit there. If you need one, borrow one. Okay, by now I hope you've done 6.3 to the power of 1/33. The only way to do that safely, I've seen it mess up too many times, put the fraction in parentheses. Otherwise, your calculator might think you mean 6.3 to the first power, and then divide that by 33. And it's a way different answer. All right? Let's make sure, because I bet you anything, some people did it one way and not some people did it the other, and they're thinking they're fine. Dice of Destiny. Row 2. Last person. That's you. Finish it up. Quick. 6.3 to the power of. Can anybody verify 1.057? All right. So then that's 1.057 equals 1 plus r. And then I'm pretty much done. So then I got to just subtract 1. And then 0.057 is r. Does that make sense? Is that rabbits? No, it's not rabbits. What is it? It's the rate. Do you get that it's very possible that St. Olaf has averaged a 5.7% increase in costs per year? Now, if that's true, a 6% cost increase just gets a little crazy after a while. Why? Because it's exponential growth. Do you get, if we continue at this pace, St. Olaf, there will be a day not that long from now where it's going to be $100,000 per year to send your kid through St. Olaf College. All right. In fact, that's what I want to figure out next. Assume for a moment it continues at that same rate. Let's use that same exact formula where we have the end is what you start with times 1 plus the rate to the x. Except we know the rate now. What I want to know is if your kids go to St. Olaf someday. First of all, I love St. Olaf. I got a great experience there. I'm not trying to rip on St. Olaf. Everything's going to get more expensive between now and then. If all colleges keep going up the way they are, it's going to get to be a little crazy. So how old will your kids be when they get to college? This is, I know, totally a guess. But if you're, let's say, a freshman right now, and you have your first kids after you're done with college, okay, so then you're talking 4 years for college plus another 4 years to get out of high school is 8 years. Maybe add another couple. 10 years from now would be when the first people are probably going to have kids. But again, it can happen anytime. So anyway, let's say 12 years from now, a person had kids, and then their kids are going to go to college 18 years later. So 18 plus 12, 30 years from now. Would you please figure out what the cost of St. Olaf would be 30 years from now? If the current start value is $63,000, I want to know what'll it be when your kids get there. I said it was 30 years from now and 5.7% interest rate or rate of increase. So the end I'm going to call E because I don't know the end. But I know it's 63,000 times 1 plus 0.057 to the 30. Save me the suspense. What was it? Yes. Holy crap. I'm rounding, but holy crap. But see, that's no more crazy than what happened from when I went there till now. That's just 5.7% increases. That's exactly what did happen from when I went there till now. What makes you think it's going to change? Well, because obviously you're going to say, well, people can't afford that. But then again, they would have said that about $60,000 tuition many years ago. And like, nobody would pay that, but they are. You know what I mean? Like back when, like you talked to me 30 years ago, and I was complaining about 10,000 a year. That's a lot of money. And they'd say, well, it's going to be 60,000. People would be, nobody would do that, but they are. Anyway, so I don't know what the answer is. I can just tell you that if it keeps doing, this is just math. Can't argue with it. In that it's a 5% increase, 30 years. That's what your kids would pay for college. And that means that's what you'd probably pay for college. And then, holy crap, let's do the math times by 4. That's over $1 million to get a college education. No, you're thinking that's never going to happen. Maybe it won't. Maybe, but there's something big has to happen then. I don't know what. I know that back a while ago, people said kids are just going to use the internet to get their education. You know what I mean? Like they're going to be able to like, it's true. Right now, do you know that you can take like a lot of really quality college courses online in these MMOR, I can't remember what they're called, but they're basically really, really big classes. There'll be like 10,000 people taking a class from Stanford. And you get to watch the professors that are from Stanford, like on videos, and they're free. So why can't college be like that? I don't know. Maybe that's what's going to happen in the future. Maybe it'll be a mix of a bunch of those and then a smaller number of in-class classes. I don't know. Just wanted to make you think about how crazy 1 year of St. Olaf college tuition might be someday. And that's just the exact same thing that happened to me, happening again. All right. So, oops, wrong file, sorry. Next, I want to get into the file that's for today, and let's see if we can hack through a couple word problems together, and then I'll get you into the homework, okay? They're a lot like what we just did. You just got to figure out where to put the numbers in the formulas and solve them. Find the one for today's date, which is 2-26. Okay. Do you remember that it starts with the end? Which is kind of weird, but it's true. Then it's the start times 1 plus the rate to the x is the time. They give you all those things. Just stick in everything they give you. There'll be one thing you don't give you, and you solve for that. KT, tell me where to put something. All right, 3.15 was the ending price. And then how about give me a couple more. 1.31, and then 7 for the x. Awesome. And then you just have to solve it. What is step 1 of solving, Mr. H? And this calculator doesn't work, but find one that does. You guys get 2.4. And how do you get that 7th power out of there? So I'm going to go to the power of, that's the caret. I hit pi by accident. 1/7. 1.13. I'm done. No, I'm not. Just one more little step, but it's a big thing. Yes? And your final answer? 0.13. Say it as a percent the right way. 13%. So over that period of time, gas went up 13%. We were complaining about college costs going up a lot, right? Healthcare has been going up kind of like college costs. Both of them have been just crazy. But anytime you have exponential growth, even if it's only like 8, 9, 10% growth, it gets crazy after a while. And that's where we're at, is it's getting crazy. You know, for my example, for my family, when I first started teaching, it cost about $100 a month to add your family onto your health insurance. Now it costs about $900 a month to add your family on health insurance. And I know it's hard for you to get perspective on what that means, other than it's 9 times more expensive than you're used to. So like if right now you guys are, if you have your own car and it costs like $30 to fill up your tank with gas, think, okay, 9 times that. That'd be like going to the gas station and all of a sudden paying $270 to fill your car up with gas. And you'd be like, are you crazy? And that's what's happened. You know what I mean? Costs have just gone crazy because of what? Exponential growth. And yes, inflation of that particular area. Inflation overall has only been 3%, meaning your wages don't go up that much. The cost of oil isn't that much worse. The cost of, you know, clothes is really not that much worse at all. I mean, a lot of things haven't gone up that much, but certain things have gone way up. And I'm sure the same thing will happen for you guys. I just don't know what it'll be from right now. That's like, whoa, all of a sudden clothes got really expensive. Or I don't know what it's going to be for you that gets super expensive. Maybe computers will somehow get super expensive. I don't know. Phones have. You know what I mean? My first iPhone was only $200, and then this one's $1,000. So, and the new ones are like 11, I think. I don't know. The brand new ones haven't even been announced, but okay. So find the elephant problem. Now on this one, here's one of the keys. Can you write this again, except with a different kind of power, please? What if your friend is like, I don't understand what this means. Can you just make it look different so I can understand it? You can still start with H, right? How could you make this look different so your friend who's not as good at math as you could solve it? You get that the 13t should be put to the 1/3 power. That was the key. Then you got to stick the numbers in the right spots. Like they tell you 5 years old, you got to be smart enough to know if that's the H or the T. And it's pretty intuitive. Like T stands for time, and it's probably that. But if you want to make sure, you go look up here. Oh yeah, H is in feet, so H obviously must be the height of the elephant. They get to be pretty tall. So you put the 5 in for the time, and you get H equals 13 times 5 to the power of 1/3 is added to 3. And then you could use your calculator to finish that off. Get the idea? Okay, so let's actually jump into some of the homework questions that are like this. I'm going to pause a second while we pull that up. I have certain numbers that are going to tell you to skip, a fair number of them. I wrote them down so I could tell you which ones to skip. 12-minute warning. Okay, so we're doing number 1 and 2, and I'm going to make a list now of ones that you may skip on this assignment. Kids may skip problems 3. You can skip problem 5, problem 9, problem 10. On problem 11, you may skip B, D, and F, and H. And on problem 12, you can skip B and D and F. And on problem 13, you can skip them all. And then on problem 14, you can skip problems B, C, and D. It took me a long time just to write all the ones you're going to skip. Okay, I know it's kind of a long assignment, but I think you can see that once you set it up, it's like a couple clicks on the calculator and it's done. So not that bad. And that's all I have for you for today.